When it comes to fashion, footwear is my undeniable #1 favorite part of any outfit. One of my New York friends described it as such: shoes for New Yorkers are the vehicles in which we used to travel, and what we wear/drive walking through the street says a lot about you. And I always jive with that very, very heavy. The analogy of footwear being vehicles for your feet, I think, is pretty true. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the best footwear in 2021, and I want this to be extremely conversational. So if you have a shoe or a sneaker or a boot or a clog or whatever that you think should be on the list that I didn't mention, comment it down in the comment section. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Arguably one of the hottest footwear or sneaker brands of the year for the year 2021 has to be New Balance. And I think from a continuation of last year to now, we have to start off with TikTok's or one of TikTok's favorite sneakers, the New Balance 550. Like I said, the shoe debuted in fall winter of 2020, and ever since its first release with Aimé Leon Dore, it has grown in both popularity and stature in the cultural zeitgeist of footwear. Especially in a moment within fashion where we're obsessed with the past, the 550 filled a void that the Jordan 1 kind of oversaturated, which was this chunky vintage basketball styled silhouette on a sneaker, worn casually. Other big shoes that came out in 2021 from New Balance included the Jown 992s, the Joe Freshgood 990 V3s, as well as the Protection Pack 2002 Rs. I feel like those had a big moment. And something that's a little bit of a sleeper, I would say, would be the Levi's times New Balance, which is two gigantic American established brands collaborating on footwear, which is really cool to see. The truth of the matter is, if you've been sleeping on New Balance for pretty much your entire life, and in 2021, maybe late 2020, woke you up to what New Balance had to offer, I think we should give some credence and some credit to the brand that was able to actually accomplish that woke moment for those of us who didn't know about New Balance. There are probably more than just the shoes that I mentioned that are probably up there in terms of 2021 product offerings from the brand, but I listed for you 5. The Jown 992s, the Protection Pack, the 2002 Rs to be specific, the 990 V3s, as well as the Levi's time New Balance collaborative effort, and the 550s. That's 5 shoes right there from one brand, and we're just getting started. When it comes to mules, I think no other brand has had a stronger year than the Birkenstock brand, or than Birkenstock. And more specifically, the Birkenstock Boston is having an unbelievable reign over this category of footwear. And while the Boston silhouette and mules have been around for a long time, I've never seen so many noteworthy collaborations from the brand, such as Jill Saunders and Stussy. The Boston silhouette is just impeccably popular, very popular right now. I just can't remember any point in my lifetime when the Birkenstock Boston has had more of a foothold on fashion's various communities than it has had in the last 12 to 18 months. Moving on to slip-ons and other uncategorical shoes, I think that one of the coolest and most unique slip-ons that have come out in the last some years has to be the Yeezy Foam Runner. Now, before you start rolling your eyes or start sighing because of the kind of hype beast nature of the Yeezy brand, let me explain for a minute. Like I mentioned before, the clog style slip-on is one of a kind in its unique design nature. Now, most of the people that I see wearing the Yeezy Foam Runner do it poorly or don't do it justice, essentially, in my opinion. And one of the outfits that really changed my perspective on how good this slip-on shoe can be is when I saw it styled by my guy TDR Rafa, who styled it so beautifully. It should be on the screen right now, and I think it's a really, really great way to style it. Style it like you would any other kind of like wider silhouette sneaker or shoe, and I think that this right here, this aesthetic, which a lot of people don't necessarily have when they wear this shoe, it's a different crowd, I understand, but like when I saw this, I was like, man, this is a beautiful shoe. And I even think that the Knit Runner, the kind of Mickey Mouse shoes, aren't a bad shoe. They're very different. They just need more colorways. Take it how you leave it. Let me know what you think. And another slip-on clog that I believe will just be a smash hit in 2021 and kind of leading into 2022 are the Salehe Bembury Crocs. And in my opinion, if you think about it, these are probably the best looking Croc I've ever seen in my entire life. And once again, Crocs, similar to maybe even New Balance, you have to give them a lot of credit for pulling themselves out of the depths of irrelevancy and pushing themselves into the forefront of relevancy and into the forefront of design with collaborations like Soleil and doing other things and other collaborations. We won't mention the KFC, we won't mention that. But this collaboration with Soleil, Bimbury, and Crocs, I think these are going to be absolutely insane for the slip-on, clog, mule, slide world, footwear world. But I want to mention some independent footwear brands that I feel like have also had a pretty large impact on fashion's footwear community and footwear as a whole in 2021. And these are I have three brands that are on the top of my head, but there's probably even more. And there's a ton of brands that I probably miss out on that are making independent footwear outside of like the biggest corporations. The three that come to my mind are Collegium, Fugazi, and Ore NYC. Each of these three are a perfect example, and you can kind of break these down into categories if you wanted to, where Collegium is a certain category, Fugazi and Ore is another category. You can kind of categorize other brands who are similar to it in these categories. I'm just using these ones as an example. With Collegium and with the information age, what Nick has done, because I know the founder, is he's been able to build a luxury sneaker brand essentially, but not just sneakers. He also makes other types of footwear that are made in Italy. It's all independently owned by a small business owner, and he's able to do so because of the advent of globalization, the ability to travel across the world and source information, source materials, and create a really great product for a really competitive price that you'll be able to find, outside of the normalcy of like a Nike or a New Balance or an Adidas or a Reebok, right? It's a very much so independent brand, but it still pulls a lot of its inspiration and pulls a lot of its audience from those who shop from Nike or Adidas or Vans or whatever. Next, we have Fugazi, which I feel like is kind of becoming a blend between what Ore is on this side and Collegium is, and I feel like Ore is also moving towards what Collegium is. What Fugazi has done and what a lot of brands have done, especially on the back of 2020's bootleg craze. Now you see a lot of brands like Fugazi creating their own independent one-of-one designed footwear, whether it be their loafers, whether it be other footwear that they're coming out with in the future that I've seen teased. I think that they've done a great job. Trevor has done a great job, and everyone around him has done a great job of creating products that not only speak to an audience that also is craving for something a little bit unique and different, but also has those high quality marks as well. And then kind of in the last category, but you can probably lump in Fugazi and Ore in the same category, is you have Ore NYC, which once again on the backs of kind of the bootleg movement in 2020. Now we're in 2021 and you see Ray's creating his own boot, which is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to get my hands on those. And other just footwear items and other items that are just very much so well done, but they're from an independent solo entrepreneur or a small team of creatives that obviously are catering towards that same audience. I love these brands. I love the independent brands. I think other brands that come to my mind are like brands such as Ground Cover and their pineapple boot, Vandy, and others have really brought this idea of independent designers and footwears to the forefront of the footwear community and are here to stay for the long haul. And it makes me happy because that means we're no longer reliant on certain brands, certain companies kind of distributing what's popular, what's not popular, what's hype, what's not hype, and it kind of flows a little bit more nicely in terms of what options a consumer has for footwear, right? And you can even go even further. If you want to talk about other independent brands, you could talk about independent designers, high fashion designers. You could really go down a rabbit hole, and this video could be about 3 hours long. I'm just giving you perspectives from the ones that I have. If you have other ones, hey, this is a conversation. Comment them down in the comment section. With that being said, and all the amazing footwear spoken to up until this point in the video, let's talk about today's sponsor, Reshoevn8r. Like I said at the very intro of this video, I absolutely love footwear, but what does bother me from time to time is when you get your shoes, sneakers, clogs, whatever, dirty. Not always, but it can bother me. And while some shoes do look better worn, others do not, and that's where Reshoevn8r comes in, and they have your back. What I have right here in front of you is the Reshoevn8r Deep Cleaning Bundle. And upon first impression, I was immediately impressed by the packaging and just the presentation that Reshoevn8r has put into their cleaning products. And let me tell you what all comes in the Deep Cleaning Bundle. So for starters, you get sneaker wipes, a drying rack and bowl, a cleaning mat, laundry pods, cleaning solution, and then you also get within the bundle the signature cleaning kit, which in the kit that includes a soft, medium and stiff bristle brush, 2 shoe trees, a towel, and a sack to put your shoes in for when you actually wash them. Basically everything you could possibly need when it comes to cleaning your shoes, sneakers, whatever it may be. Now I have the perfect shoes to showcase how this cleaning kit works. Recently, I took my Jown New Balance 990 V4s on a trip with me to the mountains, and it was getting a little bit dirty and gritty up there, and so I stepped in a puddle and it splashed up dirt and water on my shoe, on the left shoe to be specific, the medial side, and I've been thinking about cleaning these for the last 2 weeks. To clean something like this, I think all that would be required is the cleaning solution, the matte drying rack, and a medium and soft brush with the towel. So this is the before, not too bad, nothing too crazy, right? Now let me go to work on these for about, maybe 5-10 minutes and see the result of the cleaning kit. Boom, just like that, clean and looking essentially dead stock. Now, of course, if your shoe is much dirtier than this, then what I would do is I would clean it up with the initial first cleaning, whether you use a brush or use the towel to wipe things off. And then I would throw whatever, depending on whatever type of shoe it is, I would throw it in the sack and then use one of the laundry pods to put them in the actual washing machine. Wash it up, let it air dry, and then you'll get an even deeper clean if you have a ton of like dirt and stains from whatever you were doing with your sneakers or shoes or whatever. Like I said, for me and my New Balances, I'm gonna stop there. Having the signature shoe cleaning kit by Reshoevn8r is an incredible convenience to myself as someone who loves sneakers, and saves me money in the long haul when I don't have to buy new shoes because my old ones are dirty and kind of falling apart. I can just clean them. I also love that Reshoevn8r is moving towards a waste-free future. All of the packaging that you saw for the cleaning kits, the solutions, the brushes, all of that was packaged in 100% reusable and recyclable packaging, which is something for me that I always love to see when a brand takes that attention to detail to be very sustainable. Click the link in the description of this video to take advantage of all of the holiday deals that Reshoevn8r will be having in the months of November and December, and support the channel. I appreciate you. I think when it comes to footwear, you can't not talk about boots and maybe some dress shoes, whether they be derbies, oxfords, loafers, or whatever you want to call it in between. And I think a boot that, for whatever reasons, on my mind a lot recently, that lives rent free in my head, are these new Yeezy insulated moon boots, whatever you want to call them, right? These boots, from a silhouette standpoint, are absolutely crazy. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be on board with the aesthetics. Obviously, it's going to be polarizing. It always is with Kanye West. But I think that we'll look back on some of these boots that are being released or being concepted from Kanye West that were just released in 2021 in November. And we'll look back and we'll say, man, like that is just unbelievable what was being created. Or maybe it'll kind of fade into irrelevancy. Who knows? I'm not, I can't predict the future. But yeah, I think these boots are fantastic. They are very unique and something that I wanted to bring up for some of the most interesting footwear. And you of course have other boots that have been very popularized that maybe it's not one particular model, whether they be cowboy boots that were being worn a little bit more, maybe that's faded away. Or if you have combat boots or just vintage or chunkier soled boots are always going to be popular, and things that will always be reoccurring in fashion. And so there are a lot of versions of chunky black boots or combat boots or vintage boots or cowboy boots. So all of those things are going to be very popular, probably in perpetuity until there's no longer human beings, right? I also think that the Dr. Martens brand has had a very powerful showcasing, a very strong showcasing in 2021. Once again, another kind of legacy brand that has very strong brand identity with the yellow stitching, but it has just had so many interesting and noteworthy and under the radar collaborations that I feel like if you have these level of collaborations going on at the brand, there's something going on, right? There's something bigger than just business as usual. And let me list some of these collaborations. Just this year, Dr. Martens has collaborated with Rick Owens, A Cold Wall, Jown, Suikoke, Stussy, Haven, Clot, Needles, Keith Haring, I feel like everybody has had a collaboration with Keith Haring this year, even though he passed away. But Keith Haring. And I think one of the more interesting points like that I can take away from Doc Martens' popularity is, for example, the Doc Marten Adrian loafers kind of caught fire mid 2021 when Tyler Creator's album came out, Call Me If You Get Lost. And I remember purchasing, before the album came out, I kind of felt the energy for loafers and Adrian loafers. But before the album came out, I bought a pair of Doc Marten Adrian loafers for $65. I thought, okay, well, if you can get these things on sale for pretty much 50% off, then they must not have that much cultural weight to them. They must not be that cool, right? Fast forward to now, and I constantly get comments, questions, DMs asking Drew, how can I get some Adrian loafers? They're sold out everywhere. And I check for myself, and I go on Doc's website, I go on other websites, I go look secondhand, and they're sold out everywhere, literally sold out. And I'm not sure if that's planned by the Doc Marten brand, but even still, like, you would think a company like Dr. Marten would just want to just sell a billion, pairs of these shoes, but they have not been rolling them out, probably because the demand is so high. And maybe that's not the case, but there's something to say about a shoe being sold out and people continuously asking for it, right? There are other loafers and other dress shoes and other things. Once again, my perspective, my video. So if you have an idea, or you have other loafers that you think that were super hot or that were very popular or more important than Doc Martens, comment them down below. But don't wild out. Be nice, okay? It's the holiday times, man. I need some peace, love, and positivity. All right, let's get back on track. There are so many genres within footwear that I feel like it's tough to really encompass every single genre when talking about the best footwear for 2021. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of throw out some brands or some shoes that I feel like deserve to be on this list. And I don't know how long this list is up until this point. It really is pointless to like list out like every single shoe, but because there's gonna be a ton of them. But I'm just gonna name some more that I feel like should be thrown onto the list. Like we'll just throw them on there. You know what I'm saying? I think one in particular that comes to my mind are the Mihara Yasuhiro style of footwear, where you have very like heavy Japanese kind of footwear coming in, Americana style footwear. And I think Mihara Yasuhiro is another brand with different shoes and silhouettes that I feel like had a little bit of a moment in 2021. And if you've been on Yasuhiro before 2021, good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. Good for you. Also think something like a Clark Wallaby has been more prevalent than ever before, even though once again it's like a legacy shoe, legacy brand. I think the shoes have just once again reached new heights in 2021 that you wouldn't have maybe seen them in 2015 or 2017 or something like that. And for all of you who've already commented something nasty about not including any Jordans or Nikes, here you go. These are the shoes that I feel like Jordan brand and Nike have come out with in 2021 that have been noteworthy or would be considered the best. The Amamanier 3s, I think, is a shoe that should be up there. Obviously, I think that even though they're very, very hyped and very, very popular, which is nothing wrong with that, I have to include Dunk Lows or SB Dunks or just Dunks in general, right? Whether it be Supreme collaborations or just other collaborations, it doesn't just happen. You don't just have the most popular or one of the most popular shoes in a year by accident. And so I have to give the credit where credit is due when it comes to Dunks. And when it comes to dunk silhouettes, whether it be highs, lows, mids, grays, bays, hay, whatever, every dunk. What other shoes have had really solid releases in 2021? I think the Mason Margiela kind of collaborative efforts with Reebok was really, really big. We could talk about, Rick Owens and his showcasings with the Dark Shadow line, with his Geo baskets, which have been super popular for a long, long time, and continue to be more expensive and more popular. But what do you think I missed? I think that's a pretty comprehensive list. Maybe I could even include something like the Adidas Forum Low. I feel like that shoe has been very popular as well. Like if we give Adidas some credit, maybe, if we look at, Balenciaga and what they've been doing with their marketing efforts and the shoes that they've come out with, like the boot croc the very interesting boot croc. I don't know if it's the best, but it definitely has had a moment in 2021. I don't know who's wearing and buying it, but I just think like there's a ton of different probably Crocs and slip-ons and clogs that have, you know, whether it be Jerry Lorenzo's or Bottega Veneta or just other, you know, Chrome Hearts kind of doing their own thing. And there's a lot of options, right, for this list. And if I missed anything, gives you an opportunity to let out your frustration down in the comment section. Comment what you think I missed. I would love to hear what you have to say about this conversation. As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2021. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Thank you again to Rejuvenator for sponsoring this video. It means a lot to me and supporting the channel. A bientôt, everyone. To put another battery in my camera, it freaking died. Post Vid Vid. What's up, Post Vid Vid gang? I'm very excited to have you guys here. Post Vid. Shout out to Rejuvenator one more time. That was actually that was the first brand integration on the vids that I've ever done, which is really, really cool to see the channel growing in that nature. I feel like it was very like natural, right? We're talking about shoes. I love shoes. Obviously, we all have to clean our shoes from time to time, and why not with Rejuvenator, right? What do you guys think the sneaker of the year is, or the shoe of the year? I guess sneaker of the year is a much more kind of common coined term than just shoe of the year, because shoes have really, for me, evolved from, you know, my youth where it was all about sneakers to now it's about all these different types of shoes. And I think it's been the way for a lot of people as well. So for me, I would probably, I think last year I said the sneaker of the year because even though it came out so late in the year, was the 550s last year. And I, you know, for whatever reason, whenever I look at these shoes, like for whatever reason, there's something that is really, really nice about them. And I think that they're still, to me, like, you know, in terms of a shoe that I've never really owned or had in the past, having so much relevancy in the present, I think the 550s are really up there for me. I don't know if they're sneaker of the year because that's, you know, people will probably disagree, and I'm probably not the best person to talk about sneaker of the year. Or maybe I am. If Complex or whoever wants to have me talk about sneaker of the year, let's run it. Also, someone told me that the fist bumps are cringy, so I need the Post Vid Vid gang to let me know whether they are or they're not. Because right now I'm in a weird space where it's like I appreciate the feedback that people give, but sometimes I don't know which feedback is the very, very best, right? So I know my 1% gang who cares about the videos the very most will let me know whether they're cringy or not, and I can just stop them. You know what I mean? I'm trying to have a deeper connection through the screen, and it's tough to do because, like, obviously there's a screen between us, but at the same time I'm trying to bridge that gap, right? Some people call it breaking the fourth wall, which is, I think that's a cool term. But let me know. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week wherever you are in the week, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe, or you guys are probably already subscribed if you were watching to this point, but thank you guys for watching, for real. Peace.